Inside of the root of our project, let's create a new folder and call it INC. Inside of this folder, we're going to create two files. First one will be called autoload.php and the other will be called config.php. Inside of the autoload one, we start with the opening PHP tag. Then we require once, and we're going to require a config file, so config.php. After this require function, we start function, 2 underscores autoload, and we have class name as parameter. By default, it will be null. And now we check class. We create the variable class explode, and we're going to explode our class name by using this underscore as a separator. And I'm just going to copy the name of this variable. So it's our class name, and then we check path, implode, and we're going to implode all these values which have been separated by underscore and assigned to our class variable, which becomes an array after being filtered through the explode function. And now we're going to join this class array using the implode function and / as a separator and class. Then .php at the end to get the file name. Now, rather than actually using the / here, what we can do is use that directory separator, which we'll be getting into in a minute. So we can actually replace this / with a ds constant. Now we're going to use and symbol require once, and we're going to require path, which will basically be the name of our class. Okay, so sorry, not the name of our class, is going to be a path to our class, which we're actually calling. So now let's open our config.php file, and inside of our config.php we again start with the opening PHP tag, and first we're going to define a few constants. We start with the defined, and we're going to check whether the s constant is defined or define. If it's defined, we do nothing. Otherwise, we're going to define our ds constant, and it's going to be directory separator. This is just to avoid, obviously, this long name. We just shorten this to ds, basically using the predefined constant. Now, if I copy all this, rather than typing all these things, again, paste it twice underneath. Second one will be root path. And if it's not defined, we're going to define it, and we use real path function to get the directory name of the current file. And then after this, we want to concatenate this with ds directory separator, again dot, 2 dots because we're going up one level, and then ds again directory separator, obviously concatenated with the dot. The last constant here will be classes path, which will basically be the path to our classes folder, and that will be root path dot ds dot and the name of the classes folder, which will be classes. So let's create this folder straight away inside of the root of our project, and it's going to be classes, and we will work with this folder later on because we're going to create one class over there. Okay, so these constants are now defined. Now set include path, and we implode using the path separator this time, then comma, and we're going to implode array, which will consist of just 2 values, will be real path of the classes path, and then we add what's already on the include path, so get include path. So that's our include path set. We can close our config file, we can close our autoload file. Let's move to the next video and start working with the other files.